Welcome everyone to the South Campus Show. I'm John Abel, and I wanted to tell you that this is my last South Campus show along with little Arlo, because as you can see, big Arlo is here, which means that Father Bob is here. So, Father Bob, welcome back to your show.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels good to be back, John. And thanks for covering for the summer.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It was a lot of fun. And
didn't get bored, did you?
Never.
Okay.
Not a moment.
Good.
No. Right. It was a lot of fun, and of course we've been wondering what went on during your sabbatical. Is there anything you can share with us?
You know, thanks, John. I got done with sabbatical like after the Labor Day weekend. It seems like a long time ago because I hit the deck running. It's great to be back. The outdoor masses. We got a lot of stuff happening for the fall. But no, sabbatical was great. I felt like it was accountability time because I had 20 boxes in my basement.
Yeah.
They sat there, or I was going to do them the first week I was here. And they sat there I got busy that week, never looked back. 25 years later, I said, I got to get those boxes taken care of. You know how long it took me to get rid of those boxes?
How long, Father?
With the help of a college guy, 2 hours, because we threw every one of them away. I didn't even look. You know, it's a big kind of deal.
Well, that kind of cleaning up like that feels good.
It really does. So I got that done.
Yeah.
And I just happen to have my cell phone. That's not the one that's ringing right now. That's another one. But I am now that much more savvy with my cell phone, which isn't very much because I had no place to go but up. And I had a young college graduate, Patrick Ridden, did a fine job. And he held my foot to the fire. He held me accountable.
That's what it takes, yeah.
What did you practice this week, Bob? But I have, biggest thing for me is I have Spotify.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So I can now get Neil Young anytime I want. If you want to, no, I won't do them now. But
maybe later, yeah.
Later.
And I know that during this time, of course, you know, a lot of activities going on at church, and of course we had Sunset Fest, and I understand that there were some football. I see, because you've got your Holy Family Fire chaplain's uniform on.
Yeah.
But they helped out at Sunset Fest, didn't they?
They did. They're good guys. They're service-minded, and they stepped up big time. And I told them, I said, that's the stuff that makes for a great team.
That's right.
You know, they're about being there for each other and for us, and it was very. I know Liz appreciated it. Everyone did.
Yeah, Liz, and she had a great team of volunteers for Sunset Fest. Wow, it was such a big success.
They had a scrimmage that morning. They get all the Catholic high schools, or 4 of them, and they kind of go at it. And they came back, and I'm told refereed the kickball tournament.
Oh yeah.
In their uniforms.
The first ever kickball, annual now.
Yeah,
tournament.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And maybe they had their helmets on so they didn't get hit in the head. I don't know. You know, smart.
Yeah.
No, we don't want any concussions off
we
the
don't.
practice field.
For sure.
But
I know there's some activities coming up at church. Certainly a lot of attention and around the Synod small group process, which is very important. And can you give me a little feedback on that?
Right. And so, first of all, folks, you know, it's always like, what's in it for me? And that's a good question. That's what I ask. What value does it have? Better said, what value does it have for me? And why do I want to be part of this? And to me, if you're part of this, if they're small groups, a beginning and end, it's 6 weeks. 6 weeks in a row. Obviously, not everyone can make all of them.
Sure.
But you know, what's in it? You know, why do I want to be part of it? To learn. You're going to learn some things about just what makes for a great parish.
Sure.
What makes our faith come alive, and things where you go, I'm proud to be walking the walk, proud to be. There's Arlo. Welcoming a guest.
Yeah.
Next thing is to learn to connect with people, to connect with the parish. And the third is, I think, just to get some, I could say, skin in the game, that having been part of a small group, the parish is going to be like more owned.
Yes.
All of us that are part of it. It'll be owned, and
Well,
it'll
and,
be a great deal. So more
Yeah.
detail, we're going to talk about this,
oh, this
but
weekend.
our goal is to get about 80 people.
Terrific.
For 6 weeks, small groups.
Yeah.
It'll be a cool thing.
Well, Father, I didn't know if you knew that Father Nels Jendal was coming out, and he's also a chaplain, like yourself. You're at Holy Family.
Yep.
He's a chaplain for another team, and we're going to find out who that is. So,
All right.
Father Nels, come on over. I'm going to put little Arlo back here
Okay.
on the mantle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Father
Hey.
Nels, how you doing,
Good,
man?
good. How are
to
you?
see you. Good to see you.
Very good to see you too.
Have a seat. Have a
Thank
seat.
you.
You
Thank
are.
very much.
This is live. The
All
South
right.
Campus Show. We do this every Thursday.
Well, yeah.
Bring people in, and this week it's you. Thanks for
Great.
showing up.
Hello, Pope Francis. Good to see you.
He maybe will tune in. Who knows?
That's
Who knows? We got Arlo. So, Father Nels, everybody, is chaplain at 3 very important places and with very important people. First of all, I'm going to just give you a little build up here. Father Nels is chaplain at Holy Family Catholic High School just down the road. Teaches, connects well, been a great asset to the school for the students, the parents, the whole thing. Secondly, he's a football chaplain with me, co-chaplains. I'm going to stand up just a minute. Can you see, folks? Can you see? All right. This is my Friday uniform. We are co-chaplains of the Holy Family Catholic Fire football team, and it's so cool to be out there with you, because you can actually see who has the ball when you're running. He helps me out. I got binoculars. I got to get a new set. Automatic focus, you know. But and he also happens to be chaplain of just this other team called the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe you've heard of them. All right. So, but I know his heart is Friday night. It gets him pumped up, ready for Sunday. Nels, tell us a little bit. Well, first of all, what are your duties at Holy Family?
Oh, well, thank you. So this will be my 10th year as a high school chaplain, and I'll admit when the bishop first gave me that assignment, I really didn't know what that meant. I had never gone to a Catholic high school, and so I didn't really know. So the bishop informed me that he wanted me to teach, another thing I had no experience in.
Yeah.
And so,
Good for you.
my duties over there are kind of flowing between both teaching and chaplain. So every day I teach 3 classes. This year I'm teaching juniors for religion. And then also really the sacramental and spiritual life, working with the campus ministry program that they have there, which encapsulates pretty much everybody of trying to build up the faith, and then being able to do that in a sacramental way. So I often inform people, just how like Father Bob is assigned here to St. Victoria's, I'm assigned there. So that's kind of my spiritual
Kind of like
place.
your parish.
My parish, exactly.
If you will.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got the kind of your day job with the students and teaching and so forth. Friday nights with Holy Family is great. We do with the team chapel together. It's student run. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Nels and I are sort of mice in the corner with Arlo making more noise than we do. That's the 3 of us.
Yeah.
But and that's great. That's a great experience. But about the Vikings, tell us. How'd you get involved with the Vikings?
Great question. So it began several years ago, where because my schedule at the school is a little bit different than it would be at a normal parish pace of life.
Like me.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, all right.
There's a group called Catholic Athletes for Christ, and one of their goals is to connect with sports teams from even the smaller collegiate levels all the way up to the professionals of pretty much every sport is their hope and their desire. And they're looking for inroads both with the teams and to find priests who'd be available to celebrate Mass with the various sports teams. So a friend of mine, she's one of the local coordinators, and she knew that I had been at a high school, and so typically my Saturday evenings were a little bit more free. So she inquired about 4 years ago if I would be willing to do Masses for the visiting NFL teams. So when the visiting NFL teams come to town, they usually come in on a Saturday, they stay at a hotel, And if possible, they bring in a chaplain from the local community to celebrate Mass with the players who would like to go to Mass. So I said sure. Now it was a little bit interesting my first time doing that. It's usually a smaller group, but it's kind of odd doing communion because you have to go body of Christ, body of Christ, body of Christ. Oh, you're the kicker. Good. So
Some of those guys are big too.
oh, that's true. They're not as small as they used to be. So that was with the visiting teams. So every time they would come to town, I kind of didn't know, who would be there. And some of the teams have a very, very faith-filled group, and some as many as like 50 people will be there, and other ones is a very small group. Well, then the Vikings Catholic chaplain locally was Father Mike Van Sloan. He was last assigned at St. Bart's in Wayzata. And he retired from ministry and also from that position with the Vikings, though he's still very connected with many of them because I believe he was chaplain there for 20 years or so. Yeah, so Father Mike, the general manager, Rick Spielman, and then the Archbishop kind of talked, and they said, well, we'd still like, the Vikings said we'd still like a chaplain, and so they said, well, Father Nels knows how it kind of works. So how does that sound? And I said, well, I suppose I could manage. And so that's kind of how it happened.
And of course, as I came as, I think back in the 80s, I was doing masses for visiting teams, but it didn't last long. Every team I celebrated mass for, they'd lose, and the word was out, they dropped me. They dropped me from the schedule. I don't blame them.
So you did the Buffalo Bills, their 4 Super Bowls.
Detroit, everyone else. But that's great. So specifically, what are your duties with the Vikings?
Yeah,
spiritual support.
Yep. So it right now this is my first year, and with COVID, it's a little bit more restrictive. They really want to make sure they have a successful season without any outbreaks or anything. So right now it's been a little bit more limited. But so over the summer when I started, they invited me out. So I go out to the practice facility that they have down in Eagan, and we'll come in at a specific time and celebrate Mass. Right now it's been in one of their breakout rooms that we have there, and so it's been basically coaches who've been there. Because the players have been in and out, but a good number of the coaches attend, and then we'll check in with them. And so, as you know, a lot of the players and coaches get moved around a lot. So, a lot of times the chaplain is the first connection to a spiritual community. So, some of the new coaches have asked, where are some churches in the community that we can connect with, and those. Now, unfortunately, they're not living out this way, so I haven't said St. Victoria's yet. But anybody that's out this way,
we have many zip codes.
They're okay. All right, we'll give them a direction right here. I'll put in their GPS on their phones. But so to connect them with their local communities, celebrate the sacraments. And then another thing that they're working on with this Catholic Athletes for Christ is Zoom Bible studies. During the COVID lockdown, that was a way that they were keeping everybody connected, was actually Bible studies they were starting. So we'll be helping with some of that. Now at present, when the team is on the away schedule, the night before I do a Zoom Mass with them because they can't have an outside priest into their bubble, so I do a Zoom Mass. So at an prearranged time, the team, they usually gather in one of the rooms, and then they set up a computer screen there. So I'll celebrate Mass for them. And as the COVID situation continues to fluctuate, there'll be adjustments to what we'll have. But I've been told that even being able to opportunities to travel with the team when things get a little bit more back to normal. So,
Great. So and maybe you haven't gotten into the job that much yet, but do you anticipate that there's anything that you've learned from the students at Holy Family that you can apply for the players of the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah. Well, so growing up, I was not much of an athlete. I was a supporter of the athletes at our high school. And
you're not just being humble now.
No, I'm being factual.
Okay.
I was the geek. I was in band. I was on the chess team. I was in Knowledge Bowl. I was on yearbook. By the way, 4-year lettering in yearbook.
Okay.
Yeah, but you didn't even know you could letter in that.
Very impressive.
Yes, I had to sew it on myself, but that's okay. And so I had never really had the experience of the sidelines. Now, certainly I'm a fan of sports and I love sports, but there was something so different in recognizing what happens to the players when they are on the sideline, particularly with football. Because football, you have to, more than probably any other sport, rely on the guy next to you. Each has a specialization. The linemen really can't be the wide receivers. The wide receivers really can't be the running backs. The running backs really can't be the tight ends exactly. So as a result, you have to learn trust, you have to learn, and to watch these guys both celebrate the other kid's victory and also cry with him in some of their defeats. And so being able to see how that dynamic works that I had never witnessed as a kid myself has given me a lot of insight, and I think it's helped with homilies and even how to speak to any of those guys in the football world. If I hadn't seen the sidelines, I don't think I would know really how to speak to them.
Yeah, there is, even with Holy Family, all these years, something about, I call it the energy of a young man. You can't describe it, and in particular, when they're in the heat of the battle, it's intense.
Oh yeah.
And it's the emotions run high, both ways, celebration, defeat, but they're really becoming who they are through that experience if they let it sink in, and maybe that's where we come in and all that is.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. And maybe there's something from being with the team over the years that you can apply for the students at Holy Family too.
Well, there's a lot that goes from the field into the classroom as well, and it really goes both ways. I know even our athletic director, he often call the sports the last classroom of the day, because if the kid, just like in the regular classroom, if the kids are open to learning, they'll learn. If they're open to learning on the football field or the tennis court or the volleyball court or any the soccer field, any of that, they'll learn as well.
Yeah, I agree. Life lessons are intensified on the playing field, and it's, I think, to help young men, young women reflect on the experience and its disappointments and its triumphs and everything in between. Really, it'll help them step into life and hopefully a runaway too. Final question. This is an important one, though, and I don't know if you can answer it. Is spiritual counsel for the Vikings is important, but what advice do you have for Coach Zimmer against the Atlanta Falcons this week, so we can pull off a W? I mean, come on, you must have something inside stuff.
So here's where I feel I last week's loss, I think, was on me. When I saw them, I said, I saw them online. I said, gentlemen, usually I'll pray a rosary for the team, but I'm going to pray one for you for all 4 quarters. I'm going to pray 4 rosaries for you. I didn't know there'd be overtime. I let them down by 1. That was on me. So
you know what? It's the rosaries is like the game. You got to finish strong.
Exactly.
Father Nell, it's been great having you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I really look forward to the game this week.
Yeah.
The first home game, folks. Stop by if you can.
Be awesome. Friday Night Lights.
It is. So for now, with my dog Arlo, Father Nels Jendal from Holy Family, Father Bob signing out for another week. Good to be back. I want to thank John Abel for taking the baton and running with it all summer, and Liz, as always, being there and making this thing happen from the technical end of it. Thank you, Liz. Peace to everyone. See you next week. Take care.